morning.
Morning.
We are in Berlin, in the world of coffee, with Hugo from Caramel Coffees. Welcome, Hugo. How are you doing, man?
Really fun. Enjoying Berlin, enjoying the beautiful weather here.
Yes, insane. It's insane. That's true. It's too warm for Berlin, but it's okay.
It's perfect.
So, Hugo, I want to ask you some questions. For me, one thing is important to ask you. What is important for you that people should know who are working or are not working with coffee but are coffee lovers or drink coffees? What is important to know about your farms? How do your processing, drying, harvest? How are you working?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. It's a combination of the tradition of 4 generations producing coffees.
Yes.
The terroir, where we are, the soil itself, the mother nature, the rain, because we don't use irrigation.
Yes.
And 2 young founders that are really innovative and entrepreneur. So they are trying to push with all the tradition to push the limits of specialty coffee.
That's interesting. So for me also it's important that people should know when they're drinking coffee, what are you doing and how much time you need and how many plants you need to get a cup of coffee, or let's say a kilo of coffee.
All right, kilo. So let's say that one tree,
yes,
in a year will produce 2.5 kilos of coffee. But the tree, once planted, the new tree will take 2 to 3 years to start growing.
Yes.
And in the 5th year,
yes,
it will produce 2.5 kilos of cherries, the fruit. We call cherries the fruit of the coffee.
Now, how much is left when you take out the pulp?
When we remove the pulp, we have half a kilo, 0.5 of green bean.
That later goes to me like a roaster.
And then you roast, depending on how you roast, you will have around 0.4 kilos.
So there's an amount of work for the farmers to get to the end consumer a cup of coffee.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Once you consider we don't use big equipment, machines to harvest.
Why not?
Because we are in an in-hill, very steepy mountains.
Yes.
And the degree of inclination, it's impossible to use those big harvesters as you have in flatlands. So we depend on the hand picking and the machine, which is a semi-manual machine to shake up the trees. Still, labor-intense job.
So it's a very hard job for the people who get the harvest done to work in the sun, in the heat, in the inclination of the hill.
Yeah. And also they depend on the weather. If there is rain, they get so sleepy that they're not able to walk around and carry the bags. So they must have sunny weather to pick coffees.
That's the thing that's interesting, I think, to know for the end consumer. In my opinion, that we need to understand that we need to vary much more the cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's not something that's hanging in a tree and it ends up in a cup. No, there are hundreds of hands passing by, the shipment, the harvest, the treatment, all these things include.
Yes, you do.
That's interesting. So we have different continents, we have different countries, different farmers, different processes, different variations, no? What is Caramel Coffees doing to give, like me, a roaster, different kind of flavors in his coffees? You are working with fermentations, you have naturals, you have pulp naturals. What is the idea of Caramel Coffees?
Caramel Coffees is pushing the limits of processing coffees. So classically we have naturals,
yes,
honey,
yes,
we call pulp naturals in Brazil, and washed. So you have 4 big main process. But the combinations we are doing back in the farms, we have above 30 different processes. The main one we are using now is inspired in the wine industry.
Yes.
We are doing cold fermentations
Cold fermentation.
using stainless tank
Yes.
from the milk industry, because the coffee industry, they don't produce that kind of tank. So basically it's a refrigerated tank.
Yes.
We pick the cherries, measure the content of sugar, the Brix levels.
Yes.
This is high tech in the farm.
Yes.
If they are 23 degrees of Brix above,
Yes.
they are ready to be fermented. We will use the whole fruit, the cherry,
Yes.
in the tank.
Yes.
So we call this natural fermented. The coffee will have a long and cold fermentation, the cherry, and we will control the oxygen. We will remove the oxygen. So it's an anaerobic fermentation.
It's because when you get out of the oxygen, you slow down the fermentation.
Yes, and you cool down the coffee, you have a longer fermentation, because fermentation is sugar and heat.
Yes.
That's the bacteria.
Yes.
You don't want a lot of bacteria and you don't want bad bacteria. So there is a range of temperature to work on. And how do we stop? We stop by measuring the pH. There's a tiny pen, you squeeze the cherry, and then you measure the pH. Each variety, each process has a different pH.
So you measure it in the fruit.
In the fruit. That's
Cherry.
beautiful. Cherry, sweet, and it gets complex. So the pH is the alarm clock to stop the fermentation.
And
then we will take them to dry. But remember, sometimes the coffees are 120 hours, 150 hours with water or without water, fermenting. So the cells, the interior, the structure of the bean is affected.
Sure.
So if you take that coffee and expose to heat, the bean is dead. So we are trying on raised bed to guarantee.
The bean needs to be alive.
Yes. So we are trying slowly on raised bed. Mother Nature is gentle. It must be slow. So on the raised beds, and now we are protecting from the UV rays. So we have a greenhouse with UV protection to slow down the drying process. The slower, the better. After that, the coffee must rest. And now we are resting the coffees, or aging the coffees, in oak barrels. So the moisture will stabilize. And for roasters, moisture is something and water activity is another different thing. So by the end of the process, the coffee must be at 12% of moisture,
Yes.
maximum, and in a range within 0.5 to 0.65 of water activity. Because water activity is an alarm to show if the farmer was speeding up the drying or slowing down. Sometimes the moisture is almost 12, but the water activity is so unstable. And you as a roaster, Hugo, my friend,
drives you crazy.
it's a nightmare.
I know,
to
it drives you
roast
crazy.
coffee.
Yes. But anyway, when I'm roasting, I always try with every batch my moisture in my coffee. That's for me is one of the most important things to do. Because when you have a lot of moisture, the fruit of the time of roasting changes.
Yes. And also, Guido,
Because moisture is also a good heat transportation.
the airflow and the heat change the game. And also, Guido, people will think that sun-dried coffee are better because they were in the sun. But you cannot control the sun. If you cannot control the exposure of the heat, you cannot manage
The UV is
strong heat. So what we are doing by the end of the drying, we are using a mechanical dryer, very similar to a roasting machine. So we control the airflow and the temperature and have a steady finishing dry.
because you need an airflow.
You need the
but not.
fire, yes.
It's the fermentation gets
That is so.
roasting process.
We have a combination of natural sun-dried coffee with mechanical sun-dried coffees. So you have end of the process, a fine tuning to dry the coffee properly.
So now I have another question what comes up just in my mind. You told me that we have 2.5 kilos of what is left. And with this process, what you're doing, in the end we have a lot of food. What are you doing with this? It's amazing amount of kilos, no? Every half-hour. It's amazing. Because it is something that's antioxidant, no?
Yes. You know, it's so rich in flavor, it's so fruity. We wish we could send to people taste it.
That's amazing.
Like cascara to have the infusion. We are studying process of sanitize it because it's rich in nutrients, it's wet, so we need to take care of that product. So we use the pulp as a nutrient to nurture the soil.
The soil to get the vitamins, everything, minerals in your...
So we take it back to the mother nature.
That's good.
And it will provide the coverage in the soil against the heat. The soil is like a skin.
You give back to the nature. It's good.
And an interesting aspect, you know, after milling the coffee, we have the parchment, which is a cellulose material.
Yeah.
It is flammable. So we use that material to adjust the mechanical dryers and adjust the fire. And when we are renewing the plantation, we chop down the trees and use the logs for the boilers to dry the coffee.
That's amazing, that's amazing.
So the coffee tree is 100% reused.
That's amazing, that's amazing. And as Carmen Coffees, how many kilos of coffee you do in a year? And the amount of this, how much percentage is specialty coffee? What goes to the small roasters?
Wonderful, wonderful. Carmen Coffees nowadays, we are exporting sales in general, internal market and external market. We are around 250,000 bags of 60 kilos. 95% of that is a specialty. For us, a specialty, according to SCA score standards, above 80 points. Okay? Of course, when the producer is growing coffees, not 100% of his production is a specialty. So we have to help out the producer. And we have to help him to sell that coffee. And also the farmer will slice down his farm for the top microlots, the mid-range, the entrance level, and those that are not specialty. For those ones, the farmer will sell to other companies as commercial coffee. So the idea is to help the farmer to migrate from commercial to specialty and to high-end specialty with consistency. Specialty coffee is about the traceability and consistency. Every crop, although it's an open sky industry, we must keep consistent production.
It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. I think what was important to know also is when you, at the end, you sell your coffee, the amount of money, what comes, how do you use that? It's for new plants, harvesting. What are your costs instead of you selling? How it works in your farms?
You know, as we are a labor-intense company, and the farms, the coffee farms are labor-intense. For example, the fermentation process, you don't have the equipment to transport the cherries from one step to another. You need people.
You need a lot of hands to get it done, huh?
Yeah, so labor is one of the main costs. From 40 to 50% of the coffee in my region, labor.
Goes to the workers to get it.
And also the maintenance of the plantations.
Yes.
I mean, pruning, cleaning, picking adds a lot of cost. So also you have the fertilizers. So let's say that 60% to 70% is cost.
Yes.
And I'm including water, electricity, all the laws that you have to follow and pay accordingly. So it's a lot.
And then you have to the ambience, like animals can attack your plants.
So you have problems with losses. For example, rains, heavy rains during the growth of the cherries may affect and drop them down, and the good ones, the good cherries will fall. So you have losses in this process. And 100% of the coffee is not specialty. There is a percentage that you must separate, you know? So it's a lot of cost involved. It's a huge pressure on the farmer. And the fertilizers, they are based on dollar currency. So they're strongly affected by the fluctuations of the currency. And one of the other aspects that is related to the cost, the coffee, specialty coffee is based on the New York level, is a reference to build the price. So pressures on New York levels will pressure the farmers.
And then you have to every year you have to take out plants who are more than,
Yes,
you use them again to heat up your machines and the environment, but you need
have to
put
renew.
new plants,
Yes.
and it takes some time to start growing.
it's a constant process. You know, the farm doesn't stop. It's not only in the picking season. In between the seasons, you have pruning, chopping down, replanting, analyzing the soil, maintenance of the equipment. So basically, the
Experiments, what you're doing with all kinds of
small
processes.
trials. So basically, the farmer will, the second semester, pick coffee from June, July, August, and some other areas, August, September, because we are higher. And in the first semester, doing everything he can to get ready for the next harvest.
So constantly going off.
And you know, by the end of August, you generally finish the picking. You must prepare the soil, check the nutrients, the fertilizer, because in September we'll start the rain seasons. So the soil must be rich, the trees must be nurtured to have the blossom. So you're finishing picking in one area of the farm, you must run away and check another areas to correct the soil. Because the farmer divides the farm in a way that this area is producing this year, the other area is resting. So it's a biannual problem to have a steady productivity.
It's amazing, it's amazing. This is something I really feel that the people, the end consumers in the world needs to know. The Air Force, what you're doing behind
The cup,
a cup of coffee, no?
Yeah.
and the cup of coffee, what is for you and typical flavor of Brazilian caramel
in
coffees?
our region.
Yes,
you know that
because I love your coffee, no? I buy your
I'm so
coffees
happy.
and my clients, they really want your coffee because they are excited, they love it, the taste, the flowers, what's inside, it's amazing.
we are so happy. Actually, we are lucky. We are blessed because as we are in a higher altitude,
Yes.
above 1,000 meters high, and we have farms of 1,400 meters high, the altitude creates a microclimate.
Yes.
We are talking about the sea level and then 1,000 or 1.4. The microclimate is a little bit more, it's colder.
In the night times.
Yes.
That's influence your density of your coffee.
Yes, and also because the maturation of the cherries is lower. So when you consider, for example, the yellow bourbon,
Yes.
which is a very delicate variety, it has complexity, but the yield, the production of it, it's lower. Generally, what we notice in the natural process, our coffees they have a delicate acidity, almost citrus.
Yes.
It's like a landmark with a tiny touch of fruitness of something delicate. citrus acidity pleasant with the fruitness. Does it make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, but it's also how the roaster treats your coffee.
Wow.
That's something
Yeah.
because you can do in your farm the best to get these things, but later it's in the hands of the roaster to provoke more or less from this characteristics.
To focus
Yes, on the way he wants in the cup.
Yes.
And then you get the grinder, the coffee machine, the
Brewing.
press, everything behind, no?
And Guido, this is the magic of coffee. You know?
It's amazing.
A
Yes,
lot
yes,
of
I love it.
hands to make it happen.
Yes.
So sometimes we take a cup of coffee for granted because
But
the
it
coffee has
isn't.
been
It
there.
isn't. It isn't.
It's like water, electricity.
It's not like that. It's not like that. And then comes I go up to my another idea. Now we're talking about the roasters. How do you see the difference in the roasters of like European roasters and the specialty roasters in Europe and in your country, your beautiful country, Brazil?
Wow, it's interesting. Thinking about Brazil, we grow coffee, the largest Arabica producer in the
In the
world.
world, yes.
Okay.
There are
So
people
Brazil-
running behind you, no?
Yes.
Countries coming in, but
And also, Brazil is producing around 60 million tons of Arabica. 50, 40, this is the range. But Guido, of that amount, I would say that less than 5% or even lower than that is a specialty.
so for me, it would be an honor to work with your coffees. Because when you have 5% only,
Less
it
than
goes
that.
to all over the world.
Yes.
And I beyond an honor for me to work with your coffees.
It's a limited amount, you know?
So my clients who drink my coffee in Barcelona, they should know that is that they have to be lucky to get this coffee, no?
It's a lot of work and a limited, availability. So, what happens in Brazil now? We are developing the culture of specialty coffee roasters, specialty coffee shops, and barista is becoming a profession, important profession.
Yes.
The roaster
Yes.
is an important profession. The graders, the cuppers, the Q graders.
It's amazing.
But in Europe, as it is one of the largest markets, the consumption is well advanced. But we feel that some countries, they still have the culture of the strong, dark roast coffees.
That is something also what is in my mind. What sorry that I interrupt you, but this you do so much work. How do you feel when they roast your coffees dark?
We feel that they're missing or they're losing important aspects of the coffee.
Yes.
Because Guido, to be honest with you, unfortunately, most of the commercial coffees we drink, they are blends, Arabica and Robusta, and they are full of defects. Because
That's why
part
they
of the
roast dark.
specialty, yes, part of the specialty is to traceability and consistency. In the consistency, I must separate, grade the coffee and eliminate defects. In the farm, in the processing, in the drying, and in the milling to prepare the bag. So, when you over roast coffee, the bitterness is a memory of coffee. We have the bitterness. If it's bitter, it's a strong coffee. But it's all about the roast, right?
It's only the roast. Yeah, or you have to do your extractions wrong. But normally when you have a bitterness in your coffee and you see the beans, it's over roasted.
And people think, okay, bitter coffee, strong coffee, caffeine.
No, because what you just told me before, and what I know in my coffees, what I found out in your coffees, is the citrus in your coffees, the fruitness was inside. You lose it in your roast.
Yes.
So for you, the role of a roaster, a specialty roaster, is very important to show what you are doing there.
Yes, because Guido, remember, the drying process in the farm is very similar to the roasting process you do back in Spain. Gentle, slow, you don't want to destroy the cells, the beans. Coffee is a fruit. We forget it. It's a fruit.
It's a seed. It's a seed.
And the seed inside is alive. So as a fruit, you must only take the ripe ones. First of all.
It's true.
So you don't eat bananas, green bananas, right?
No,
And then when you're roasting, you must treat as a fruit.
that's true.
So I think dark roast is a controversial topic. A lot of consumers, they're still used to that.
Uh-huh.
But it's a matter of trying. I think it happened in Brazil with the beer, the craft beer now movement, local brewing, with olive oil.
It's a little bit, the craft beer is a little bit before the specialty coffee. People were starting with all kinds of experiments, and now the coffee industry is doing the same. It's the same way of getting to your customers. People have to understand it's a different product. It's completely handmade.
Yes. So I think it's a matter of changing the mindset and offer people a new flavor. So if they're willing to try a new flavor, I'm afraid that sometimes dark roast will hide the defects or prevent the coffee to grow, all the complexity.
It is also a darker roast coffee with the roast inside. It's an easier way of making a coffee. When you have a specialty coffee, it's more you have to watch a lot of aspects in the coffee.
Tiny details of extraction, infusion, temperature of water.
It all influence. It all influence.
Grinding.
So for you, like me, like a roaster, my feedback to you, it's also important.
Yes.
My customers who use my coffee, and they have customers, they tell them what they taste, what they like, or what they don't like. That feedback I need to give also to you.
Yeah.
That you can involve in your farm.
Anything, yes, because any tweak, any adjustment in the farm will reflect in the cup, will reflect for you.
Yes.
So it's important to keep all the dots connected.
Yes.
Farmers, roasters, coffee shops, the consumption, they must be connected. This is what coffee, especially coffee, is about. Transparency.
Respect it.
And respect and the information.
Respect it. What do you think they put sugar in your coffee?
Well, I'll prefer the natural sugar in the fruit. Let's prevent diabetics.
In Brazil, the specialty coffee, how it is going there?
It's growing.
Because I have a very good friend, also a friend of you, Rafa.
Brazilian.
He's from your country, and he just visited you, and he told me a lot about what you're doing, what the people are doing there, the specialty coffee, that it was beyond, he said. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you see it? How is Brazil enjoying this beautiful product of you?
Yes, I think now, in terms of consumption,
Yes.
we see more customers looking for information for quality. So they want to know, they need to know, they want to try something new. So specialty is growing. Brazil is the largest producer and consumer of coffee.
Consumer also.
It's crazy. Like half of the, or more than half of
the 5% it gets lower to get to Europe.
So when Brazilian market starts to consume specialty, the farmers must grow. They must produce more. The commercial farmers will have to migrate to specialty because only the internal market in Brazil will absorb most of the specialty.
Wow.
This is interesting.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Wow. So later when the camera is off, we need to talk. How I can keep on getting your beautiful
coffees for you.
your amazing coffee, because I love it, man. I love it.
So, and also, Guido, from the farmer side, to produce a specialty coffee is a matter of survival.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the prices on the trade, on the board of trade, they don't reflect reality. So farmers must get away of that range of quality and price based on the board of trade. So they must migrate to higher steps of quality to have better prices. They must grow the relationship with roasters, with coffee shops, with consumers, to have a long-term relationship so they can grow together. You know, I think this is how we will make the farmers alive. Have a sustainable.
But there's another aspect in this thing. What I also, the future of your thing depends on climate. All these things influence because the climate is changing. For sure, it's in your country. You have afraidness of this changing, what affects your coffee industry. Your selling of your coffee to us. It affects the hard work of the people. What they have to do. It's for me opinion. We should pay more to get this done. We should change this try to change the climate because it's I think it's a big worry for you.
Yes,
all these aspects or not.
It is. You know, I think the climate change is one of the biggest issues because in my region we don't have irrigation. So it depends 100% on the rain.
Yes.
In the rain seasons. And coffee tree has a cycle. So in a specific part of the cycle of the growth of the coffee tree, it needs heat, sunlight, and water.
Yes.
This is the beginning of the spring for the blossom.
Yes.
And during the springtime, the first weeks of spring, it must be a steady shower of rain. If not, I will have a half or a weak blossom. And sometimes the same tree will have 5-6 different blossom times. It reflects that the same tree will have 5-6 different harvest, different fruits.
And so, wait, but you say like a shower of rain, like a muzzle, no? You don't want to have falling hard rain because it drops your flowers.
Those storms will drop the flowers.
You will
drop
know
the
have,
leaves.
yes, you will have nothing.
So it's a very delicate system to grow coffee. It's very delicate. So this is the first aspect, and also the workers, the employees.
It's suffering a lot in these mountains.
It's steepy mountains. They must carry everything. So hand picking process. They are paid by productivity. So it's a trade-off. Either they get a large volume because they're not using big machines, or they get only the ripe ones, the ripe fruits. So productivity will be lower, but I must pay him better prices, better salary, better wages.
And then comes the industry who don't want to pay.
And people say, okay, I want the perfect coffee for the same price that my grandfather was paying.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Different products.
And it has for me,
about different products.
you don't find, you want, in my opinion, you don't respect not your work and you don't respect the coffee.
Yeah.
You need to respect it and you need to understand that it's nothing comes for free, no? So, in other, how do you standing? Are you standing open and people want to visit your country, your beautiful country, your beautiful farms? Are you open? Are people can contact you, can say, Carmo Coffees, Hugo, I want to see what you're talking about. I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to taste it.
The fruit.
I want to taste this. I want to.
Of course.
Because Brazil has everything. It's an amazing country, no? Has from beaches to your forests to your country. So what can you do for them?
Of course, Guido, we have in our company we have Carmo Coffees, which is the farmer and the exporter of the green beans.
Yes.
And we have a sister company.
Yes.
Unique Cafés.
Yes.
That is roaster and coffee shop. And inside Unique Cafés, we have a coffee route for consumers. So if the consumer wants to go from the seed to the cup, visit the farm, check how the coffee is processed, touch the coffee tree, hug the coffee tree. It's all about love. It's all about love, right?
Please, man.
And then drink the coffee.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
also
yes.
check the roastery, check all the backstage. This is for the consumers.
Wow.
For coffee lovers who are working the coffee industry, specialty coffee industry, we have a different approach. You can come with me, we can check deep down the details. And even
You show them the fermentations, you show the plants,
The backstage.
how fast, how you pick it, everything.
so they can connect what they are brewing, what they are roasting, with the knowledge they gained at the orange. And the farmers, they are open heart and willing to share. They are so proud to have, in Portuguese we call gringo. Gringo is a foreigner in their farm.
Wow.
So they will be so proud to show their little babies to you. So you are invited. You don't know how to get there.
Yes.
Soon Guido will be
Yeah,
there.
I'll be coming. Because the last time I saw the emotions on the face when Rafa bought a bag of coffee while I roasted in Barcelona to Brazil, and he had it in the farm, and it was amazing to see how the owners was emotion on his face.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to meet these people. You need to taste the coffee from Brazil. So yeah, I think it was amazing, interesting to talk with you. Do you want to say something special to Berlin, to Europe, to Barcelona?
I think first of all, Guido, thank you for having us.
It's an
You are
honor,
a
it's
great
an honor,
partner,
it's an
a great
honor.
partner. Thank you for Town here at their booth here. Amazing machine, equipment.
He's behind, don't he?
You're in good company. And also, all of you who are interested in knowing about coffee, Guido is our big partner. He's in Spain. Get in touch with him. We are together, so we'll be super happy to have you in our farms. We are just 4 hours drive from São Paulo or Rio airport.
And you will enjoy the trip.
4 hours drive is nothing in Brazil.
No,
it's really
I know.
close.
So around the corner.
You go from sea level to 1,4 meters high in our coffee farms, and then you'll be welcome there. See you there.
Okay, now I think it's time to make some good Brazilian coffees here at the stand in Berlin.
I'm out of coffee.
I'm
so
also. So we're
end
gonna
of talk.
I'm talking. I see you later.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.